Alrighty, so it's that time of year again, and this year has led to a lot of, well, bad things. But it was a good year for anime. So today, I, the 25th Genius, am going to give you my top 10 best anime of 2021 year. These are anime that I feel that if you're still deciding what to watch or you haven't checked out, I think these are all a must check out, a must need, you must watch it. If you like these videos and what I do, please leave a like and subscribe, and let's get started. So I'll be going down the list from 10 to 1, 10 being my least favorite to 1 being the absolute top. You must definitely watch, the whole world must watch it type thing. As part of this, since I feel personally that anime like this are reserved for those that were created in 2021, rather than being a continuation, there will be no continuations within this episode. Maybe one long way down the line, but again, if it's a sequel, I will not cover it. I will only focus on new anime that was revealed as a single series by itself into the world. So please look forward to that. At number 10, we have Tokyo Avengers. And I'm gonna be honest just once here and say this. This anime is flipping awesome. It is easily a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, especially in a world where shonen is a running genre. This anime did everything right. The story was touching, the concepts were clear, and the characters were freaking awesome. Well, some of them. This was one of the few anime this year that I literally binged the entire series and I still wanted more of it. If you need your dose of shonen, then I have to give it to this anime. Now, you might be asking, if it's this good, why only 10? And that's because of Takemichi. I hate him. He is so bad, it is not a joke. Weak, pathetic, doesn't even try. He's the exact polar opposite of a shonen protagonist. It's very depressing to see all the other characters are flipping amazing and awesome and so bad, while this guy is playing life the timely version. Yeah, I'm okay with breaking down the whole shonen main character trope, but there's a difference between being the main character and the character just simply looking at the world with his own eyes, providing nothing as everyone's dying. But if you can handle this small thing, you can definitely watch this. Next, we have Koi to Yobu ni Kimochi Wari, which literally means if I call this love, I find it disgusting. This anime is simply just about this 26-year-old and he falls in love with a teenager, which honestly it may seem a little weird because of a lot of boundaries, but stick with me here about why this anime is really good. I understand the premise, but what I liked about this anime is that it showed that love is anywhere and everywhere, and no matter what the boundaries in this world may be, love is all still there. You had this one main character who really was just lost, not in terms of just love, but just in his life, and he meets somebody who becomes his way of life, no matter how old that she may be. I really enjoyed just seeing their dynamic as it was never really boring, but more rather interesting and enticing, and I wanted to see how it would develop. Of course, she starts off hating him because, well, for obvious reasons, but then she slowly just gets to love him and see him for who he really is. And I really think that's just what the representation of love is about. If you definitely are a romance buff and looking for something that is not your normal, then I would definitely give this a check out. Next, we have Ijiranai de Nagatoro-san, or translated, please don't tour with me, Nagatoro. But honestly, the Japanese really says Ijiranai de, which means please don't bully me, but again, we're not going to get into that. This anime wasn't as cringe as I thought. On the contrary, it took my heart with its high school chemistry between the senpai and the lovable Nagatoro. Honestly, I didn't understand why the anime was called Ijiranai or Don't Bully Me, as she really wasn't trying to bully him, but to get him to loosen up a little. The senpai is just a huge stick in the mud, and I felt that most people would be in the delicate age of high school. Seeing that he is like this, she merely wants him to get out of it. The constant test that the characters have with each other really does display the type of relationship that they have, all while being quite entertaining along the way. Through these jokes or bullying, each character got to see what they really were. they were able to grow in many various ways. This is the anime that you want to watch if you really need a cute laughs in your heart. At number 7, we have Mushakutense Isekai Itara Honki Dasu, which the weeaboos should say Mushakutense, which the people who just can't tolerate Japanese just say jobless reincarnation. All are bad translations. Now, honestly, you may stop watching this video, especially if you find out what I placed over it, but hey, at least it made the list. I agree that it's one of the best anime to have come out this year, but I just felt that others executed their story far more than this one. Trust me, as an isekai, this is definitely one of the top tiers along with ReZero and Konosuba, but again, I felt that the others were much more of a must-watch than this one. While I do like the idea of using the past of the main character to fuel and push their reason for living in a new world, some of these themes in this anime might throw people off at first glance. Again, context is everything. But regardless of the ecchi scenes and the adult context, this anime is just a great example of master storytelling at its finest, with a laid-back vibe and great characters to love and hate. If you're a fan of isekai, you might want to add this one to your list. Next, we have number 6, which is Fumetsu no Anate, which translates into Eternity to You, which is actually one of the translations that I was quite uncomfortable with because of the use of particles. I think it was spot on. If there's one word I have to say about this anime, it's sad. Very, 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 very sad. And that's what makes it powerful, coupled with an awesome theme song that only leaves you more intrigued and the tearjerkers that are here to come. This anime at first sight didn't think would have a clear direction, but Fumetsu no Anate leaps bounds and fences with its amazing storytelling and dynamic shifts of characters. You were always in suspense about what would occur, and it took you on a roller coaster of emotions and adventure. This anime did lack in the lead of a strong character in the beginning, but it made it up with it almost instantly with the ability to connect and add many loose ends, which combined and made a fantastic story. I am very utterly excited for season 2, and I can't wait to just add it on my list. Next, we have number 5, which basically is Komi-san wa Comey Show. That's which in English translates into Comey-san can't communicate. Which honestly, when talking with my friends about this, Comey Show is actually a legit like illness. Like you generally cannot speak. So I was very surprised with the anime at how accurate it was with this. This is one of the more slice of life entries to this list, but this anime definitely deserves it. What is really great about this anime is how realistic it is to actual life. With the concept of high school animes usually related to harems and supernatural, it's refreshing to see an anime about high school that really tackles open issues with growing up and going with high school. Comey reminds me a lot of MM, which honestly is pretty raunchy, but I highly recommend it because in this anime, everyone has a certain issue that they try to overcome. No matter how beautiful, talented, or seemingly normal, they all had an issue that they had to overcome. Comey Show is the same thing. And what's better is that it tackles the social problems and issues and how it can hinder developing as an adult. Comey is drop dead gorgeous, a beautiful girl with a lot of talent and brains, who could have any male she wants in the series, but is so shy and nervous she can barely formulate 2 words. Yes, I would admit that this is an exaggeration, but it is nevertheless a great interpretation of life in high school. I really love just the main character, I think his name is Tano, and Comey's interaction because it just really shows how just when you're in times of struggling with social interactions, sometimes it's good to just lean on your friends, or sometimes you may just need a little push to get through that small hump in life. If you're tired of the old cliche of high school anime, then Comey Show is definitely a must watch for you. And season 2 is coming out, so definitely look forward to that. Next, we have number 4, which is Vanitas no Karute, which translates into the case studies of Vanitas. I honestly didn't understand the translation for this, particularly because of the word karute. Now, karute is ateji, is what we call it, where this is not really the true way that it's read. The actual way it's read is called shuki, and shuki literally just is like a note or like a handbook. You see, you have the kanji for te, and then you have the kanji for ki. Like, you know that anime Mirai Nikki, which translates into future diary? That's kind of what this is. So I don't understand why he's given a title in which he's solving cases, which he's really not. A better name or better translation would have just been the Memorandum of Vanitas or even the Memories of Vanitas, but he's not really solving the case, especially if you get into the anime. There's really no case. They already know who the bad guy is. It's just the means of how to stop him. This anime is what really surprised me. This anime was so good that I literally binged everything in one day. It was that really freaking good. The reason why this anime was so good was because it had a delicate balance of character interaction and comedy. And I think that's what made it strike in my heart so well. The characters and their personalities are really well done. Vanitas is just obnoxious, but he knows who he is and how to do it, while his partner Noel just really clicks with Vanitas. I'm really excited for season 2 and the conclusion of this series. If you're looking for great laughs, good character development, and a good, well, story, then Vanitas is definitely the anime for you. At number 3, we have Sekai Saiko no Ansatsusha Isekai Kizoku ni Tensei Suru. Yes, which simply translates into the world's best assassin reincarnated into the Aristocats. So remember when I said that you might cut the video off at my placing for Mushakutense? And that's because Ansatsu completely just defeats Mushakutense by not even a challenge to me. This anime is so good. It's probably the best isekai to have come out in 2021. But if you don't believe me, you can just look on Netflix, as for a short moment this anime was actually ranked 1. And I understand we have something called Squid Game running around and all these other Korean dramas that Japan decides to put on Netflix, and this anime was able to surpass those and become the highest ranking anime to come out in its time of that season. So I'm sorry for those who are into Mushoku no Tensei, but if you're looking for like good isekai, then you definitely need to check this out. This anime is something I will definitely talk more about in the future, but I will say this. This anime is just incredible. I know it's not popular opinion, but hey, it is what it is. Jobless Reincarnation uses the main character's past not only as a mold for his future, but also means for us to understand his character. Whereas Assassin just uses the main character's past only as a temporary event to move the story. Jobless Reincarnation uses many, and I mean many ecchi scenes as a means to support the main character's personality, while Assassin uses very few. And really when they do, it just portrays that he's just coming of age, which honestly I'm for the latter. Since this is an isekai, I'm aware of the cliches and the tropes that follow. Needing to be reminded of this is very unnecessary. What Assassin does better with its isekai is keeping the main points extremely consistent. Things happen only serve a means to explain the world and the main problems in the world and serves no other purpose. The reason why this anime is something I would say under the radar a bit was probably due to the time it aired in Japan. You see, in Japan it aired around 1 o'clock, and generally shows like that are usually, well, smut. But that was not the case for this one. It actually was the opposite, to where it was actually just of good quality. And it does show you that just because a show comes on at 2 o'clock, it doesn't mean that it's bad. It's probably just the only slot that they have. But seriously, if you're looking for probably the best isekai to come out of this year, then Ansatsu is definitely the one for you. Sorry to say it. Next, we have number 2, which is Higahiro, or Hige Osoru Joshi Kosei o Hieru, which translates into I shaved and picked up a high school girl. Now, I've already made an extensive review about this anime, so if you want to check that out, the link's in the description below. And I understand that this is rather controversial and very touchy. And I understand that probably people would probably disagree to my placement, but I stand strong in my opinion that this was probably one of, if not the best anime to have come out in 2021, regardless of its controversial themes. The only word I can say about this is powerful and really strong, especially if you read the light novel. It only adds to the already good things that I've said about this. This anime not only just shows us of a high schooler and a salaryman, but their daily life. You learn just how unfair love is, and in fact how crazy it can be. Higahiro is something that many of us can relate to, even if it's horribly unrealistic. But grasping the light novels perfectly, great character interactions, and with good artwork. If you can stomach the premise, you will enjoy this anime very much. But be careful, for the feels are real as long as they let them take you. Honestly, picking number one for any anime of this year is the hardest thing for any content creator to do, I feel. No matter if you're famous, not famous, starting out, or up and coming, it's a very daunting task. And honestly, I was just gonna put Higahiro up at the top spot, but if I have to really think about what anime to give it to, it has to be 86. Honestly, to say that figuring out the best anime of the year was really hard for me, especially when there were so many great anime to choose from this year. But if I have to pick an anime that is good for everyone, an anime that dropped my jaws with its superior storytelling, then it has to be 86. The reason why 86 is so good for me, because unlike Gundam that focuses on the world with mechs and their interaction in war, 86 does the opposite. 86 is always assuring us that war is never easy, and while people are sitting at home and relaxing, there are people who are fighting and risking their lives. 86 tells us the truth about war and why, in fact, war is rather terrible rather than focus on the mechs and machines. 86 tends to focus on people and how the war is changing them for the better or for the worse. In combination with an amazing male character and supporting side characters, I recommend this anime even if you don't like mechs or